Welcome to this flexibility flow where we're going to be exploring our end range of motion, our limits, while being aware of our center and not trying to go past our limits, but just be curious about where our limits are and be respectful of what our body's telling us so that we don't overdo it, so that we don't get hurt. And we need a sense of stability in order to be expansive and flexible. So let's begin standing. Find your Tadasana. So ground down through your feet, stack your knees over your ankles and your hips over your knees and your ribs over your hips, your shoulders over the ribs, and your head in line with the spine. And then just start to shake. Do a little bouncing, a little shaking. Then start to swing your arms back and forth, just noticing where they want to go. How high they want to go, how far back they want to go. And then let's switch arms so their arms are moving in opposite directions. And then let's go side to side. Just warming up our bodies, warming up our joints, getting the connective tissues moving and getting them lubricated and open. And bring your feet a little wider than hip distance apart and just begin to shift your weight from side to side. And you can let your body do a little bit of swing. You could play with closing your eyes. And then we'll do some swinging. So with the soft bend in your knees, swing to the right and back to center and swing to the left. You can give yourself little taps. And a couple more of these. Just letting your arms be nice and loose. Nice. Come back to center and lift and spread all your toes. Do little pelvic tilts here. So tilt the pelvis forward in an anterior tilt and then back in a posterior tilt. Just get a little movement going in the hips. And root down through your feet. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, expand outward as you lower. Inhale, reach up, maybe even gaze up. Exhale, release out to the side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, release. And we'll do a little standing balance. So rooting into your right foot, pull the left knee up and begin to circle your knee from side to side. You can place your hands on your hips or in the air or cactus, whatever feels good for you. Finding the mobility in your hip joint. And then pull your knee up, grab your knee and draw it closer to your chest, point your toes. And reach your arms out to the side, extend your leg. And slowly lower down. I'll play with the other side. So root into your left foot, pick the right knee up and begin to do some movement side to side. And if you do little wobbles, that's okay. That's what happens when we explore our edge. We go out of our safety zone, our comfort zone a little bit, and come back to grounding. And pull your knee up, straighten your leg, and slowly lower down. Come back to your Tadasana, and lift your heels up and lower. We're just going to do some calf raises, so lifting and lowering. And inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root your tailbone down, rise all the way up. Then reach up again. And exhale, expand outward as you lower down. Inhale, open up, reach up. And exhale, release. Step back into plank. And push the floor away so you feel almost like you're levitating. Let your head just hang. Maybe give it a little shake. And lower your knees to the ground. Point your toes, stretch back into child's pose. Reach your arms a little further forward, but grip with your hands. So find that extra stretch, that extra range of motion. And if it's too much, just back off a little bit. Make your hands active by gripping your fingers into the floor, and then inhale, rise up. Keep coming forward. Lower your thighs down, pull your shoulders back. Squeeze your glutes and press the top of your feet into the floor. Seeing if you can sink your hips a little closer. So really reach out through your toes, activate your legs. Press down so from your anchor point of your feet, you can extend forward through the chest. Open up, lift up. And exhale, lower. Press back to child's pose. Inhale, come forward again. Coming all the way forward into your cobra, open up. And from your toes, reach forward with your chest and lower down. Inhale, rise back up again, and come back to child's pose. One more time. Inhale, round forward all the way into your cobra. Open up. Exhale, release. Inhale, puff up again, and stretch back into child's pose. And come back up into tabletop. Stretch your left leg back and push out through your heel so your belly naturally lifts. And pick your leg up without dropping your hip. So keep your hips lifted and push out through your big toe mound and out through your heel, out through the pinky toe mound. And stack your hip. And just rotate in the hip joint, stacking, making your hips parallel. Next time your hips are stacked, stretch your leg all the way out to the side and step it as far forward as you can toward the front of the mat. And shift your weight forward, bringing your knee past your toes, really stretching out the back hip flexors, but stay grounded here. So squeeze your glutes a little bit and hug the midline with your leg so you protect your joint as you stretch it, as you explore your flexibility here. And you can shift from side to side. And then bring your foot back a little bit. Bring your left hand to your left thigh. Reach your right arm up. Really reach toward the sky. And send your ribs over to the right as you reach your fingertips to the left. Bend your elbow. Bring your elbow to the outside or the top of your knee. Place your palms together. Press your palms into each other. And from deep within your core, can you find that twist? It maybe goes a little bit beyond your comfort zone, but remember where your center is so you don't lose your center. Inhale, bring your hands back up, stretch your arms apart. Again, reaching gives you a little bit of lift, and then maybe reach back for your heel or yoga block, back of your leg. Reach your right arm up and back. And come back forward again into your lunge. Step back into tabletop. And gently move around. Stretch your right foot back. Lift up through your belly and reach your leg up into resistance. And externally rotate your hip and internally rotate. And just see how far you can internally rotate without dropping too much. And big external rotation, big internal rotation. So the toes maybe even point off to the left a little bit. Try not to let your leg drop too much. And then when you're externally rotated, bring your leg all the way forward. And press your knee forward. Press into the left foot to engage your legs. Hug the midline as you find your stretch, your flexibility. And come back up, place your right hand on your right knee, reach your left arm up, and send your ribs over to the left as you reach to the right. Bend your right elbow, bringing your right elbow to the left elbow to the, bend your left elbow, bringing your left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Bring your palms together. And press your palms into each other and find that twist. And lift your elbow off your knee, extend your arms out. Really put some effort, some like pressing the top of your foot down, or if your feet are tucked, the toes down into the ground to find that stability so that you can reach back and find your stretch, your flexibility. And squeeze your legs, come back up. Lower your hands down, step back into tabletop. Begin to sway your ribs from side to side. Now step your left foot forward and begin to explore your splits. So maybe you just go a little bit farther than your half split. So you could stretch your left foot forward, you could stretch your right knee back, and push your feet into the ground to create that sense of stability, to create that strength, which is going to allow you to maybe move a little more into your stretch safely. So you wouldn't want to just let your hips be open and drop down. There's a hugging in and a process to find your edge. Keeping that strength. And maybe your body allows you to settle down into a fuller split. But don't let your ego take over. Just be curious. And then lift up again, slide your foot back in the tabletop. Move your hips around and step your right foot forward. Same thing here. Take your time as you explore. So hug in, engage your legs. And you'll probably find one side is tighter than the other side. So for me, it's the right side that's tighter. See if you can open up your shoulders and really press into the earth so you feel your muscles engage. And then soften a little bit. You kind of press down and soften. The edge can be a little bit tricky. Like I found sometimes my ego convinces me I can go further when I'm really already at my edge. So just take it nice and slow. And step back into tabletop. Move your hips around. Walk your hands forward, tuck your toes, and stretch back into down dog. A lot of times people just let their shoulders drift forward in down dog, but push your hands down so you get more space between your fingers and your shoulders. And then begin to do little pelvic tilts. So in your anterior tilt, feel your sit bones spread apart. In your posterior tilt, feel them hug in. And just find that subtle movement in your hips. On your next inhale, reach your right leg up. And stack your hips so your toes point out to the side. And you can circle your ankle. And swing your leg out to the side and keep it lifted as long as you can, bringing it all the way forward toward the front of your mat. And play with your flexibility here. So you might start with both knees bent, and then you might straighten the back leg a little bit, straighten the front leg a little, and you can rock in and out. You can wing your hips out from side to side. And press your foot down and come on into warrior one. Again, keep your legs strong and Think of this downward push so you can lift up and reach your arms forward and pull the shoulders back, stretch them forward and pull them back, stretch forward. Keep them forward as you reach your arms up by your ears and press into the back heel, press into the front foot. Keep that energy as you shift your weight forward, coming into warrior three. Reach the back leg up and expand out through your toes, really reaching. And step back into warrior two, open up. You can adjust your feet here. Maybe do little pulses, just finding your edge. You can bring your feet a little further apart from each other, a little closer, and reach back to reverse your warrior. Reach from your right toes up into your right knee, and as you stretch your knee forward, reach your arm back. Then come back up to a straight leg. Keep your legs strong. Shift your hips back as you reach forward, coming into triangle. And really reach from your right fingertips to your left fingertips, and from your left fingertips down into the right fingertips. Nice, reach your left arm forward. Step back into down dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, bend your knees, lift your hips. Stretch back to down dog, rooting down through your heels. Inhale, round forward. Exhale, press back. Inhale, come forward again. Exhale, back. Reach your left leg up. And then come up higher onto your right toes. Reach higher through your left toes. Inner spiral, so turn your left inner thigh in a little bit and back. And maybe you can reach even a little more. Notice how your glutes probably engaged by now. And then stack your hips and parallel the hips. And go back and forth. And keeping your leg open, reach it out to the side and step it as far forward as you can. Coming into pyramid pose. Again, you can bend and straighten. Just testing your edge, exploring. Maybe you can get both legs straight, maybe not. And bend your front knee forward. Hop your back foot in a little bit, turn your toes out slightly, and come on up into a warrior one. Again, find that stretch by pushing down into your back heel. Pull the left hip back a little bit and reach the left knee forward. As you expand your chest and your arms, your fingers upward. And then start to lean forward, open your arms out to the side, and gently float your right leg up into warrior three. Keep that expansion going in all directions. And step back into warrior two. Adjust your feet, adjust the distance between your feet. And press into the earth to find your foundation and expand from there. Reach back, reverse your warrior. And come back through warrior two. Straighten your front leg and reach forward, digging into your feet. Find your triangle, open up. So you're hugging in towards your center, from your arms into the center, from your legs into the center. And that gives you the stability to open up a little bit more. Just lower the top hand down and step back into your down dog. Now lower your knees to the floor. And keeping your toes tucked, come up to kneeling. Bring your hands to your hip bones. Begin to do those little pelvic tilts back and forth. We're going to come into Ustrasana camel pose. So when we do our back bends, we want to find the length so that we don't crunch in too much. So one way to find length is to hug the midline, root the tailbone down, engage your glutes, puff your chest up as you reach your elbows back, and just think of expanding your chest upward. Keeping the glutes active and rooting down to try and keep some space in your low back. So you're not crunching your back like this, but you're lengthening it. Keep reaching up as you hug in. And then maybe start to reach one hand back and then the other hand back. Keep squeezing your legs, activating your glutes, puffing up into your chest. And then leaning with your chest, start to lift up, reach your arms up. Interlace your fingers and press your palms toward the sky as you reach your hips down. Point your toes, or you can always stay flexed, but if you want to go a little bit deeper into this back bend, point your toes, flex your toes into the ground, bring your hands to your hips. Do those little pelvic tilts here. And rooting down through your tailbone, puff your chest up, and try and find a lift from hugging in and then reach back. So we need the stability of our core to protect our back and give us the chance to open. And slowly come back up again. Reach your arms up. Interlace your fingers again with the opposite pinky to the outside and reach up. And release. Back down. Just shake out the shoulders. So we'll do one more back bend. And this time, if you want, you could start to walk your hands towards the back of your knees, if you feel like your flexibility in this moment will allow for that. So hug in, squeeze and tilt, open and lift. Keep the chest reaching up as you reach back. Maybe reach back towards the back of your knees. Puff your chest up. And bring your hands to your heart, leading with your heart. Come on back up. And step back into down dog. Walk your feet forward, coming into a standing forward fold. Let the weight of your head stretch out your low back. So even here, you can press your feet into the ground, activate the glutes. And think of doing a little bit. Well, I guess it depends on your body. So if you're already super rounded, you might think of lifting the hips up. But if you're able to go really deep, you might think of rooting the hips down a little bit. So just listen to your body. You want to protect your back. And we'll explore half moon. So you can walk back on your mat if you like. You can have a block underneath your right hand. Lift your left leg up. And like we were doing earlier, stack your hips. Watch your right foot. Notice you don't want it turning inward. So you've got to create that stability in your hips to use your glutes and hug under so that you can open up and expand in your half moon. Reach the top leg up. Reach back through your toes, out through your fingertips, and maybe even gaze up. And lower the left hand down, reach the left leg toward the sky as you reach your chest toward your leg. And slowly lower down, coming back into your forward fold. Lift and spread the toes again. Bring your left hand out to the side a little bit on the floor or a block. Reach your right leg up and stack your hips and parallel the hips. This time stack. Keep your leg nice and strong, reaching back, open up, find your twist. Keep reaching back through that top leg. So you have to engage your muscles to be able to hold the balance to extend. Let's explore here. Nice, lower your right hand down. Standing splits. You can walk back towards your foot and reach your top leg up. And lower your foot down and come on into a squat. Bring your palms together and press your elbows out into your knees so your knees expand outward, and yet at the same time they're hugging inward. Then you can let the knees kind of reach your arms forward, round your spine, tuck your chin, and lift up and open. One more time, reach and come in. Lower your hips to the floor, squeeze your legs towards each other, and with a bend in your knees, bring your legs parallel to the floor. Reach forward through your fingertips. Stay here or extend your legs. Keep hugging in. And reach out through your toes, reach out through your fingertips. Find that inner lift. And slowly release. Stretching your toes in one direction and your shoulders and your head in the other direction. And when you lower down, just notice how your body feels lying down. Maybe bring your hands to your belly and rub the belly, give your belly a little rub. Shift your hips to the right. Extend out through your left toes and reach up through your right toes. Open your arms out to the side. You can shift your hips, your body a little bit more to the right if you like. And reach your leg up. Take your left hand and grab wherever you can reach. Your foot, your ankle, your calf, or even like just above your knee. And keep your legs extending away from each other as you twist your right leg over to the left in control. So you're not dropping into it, you're floating into it. And maybe think of extending out through your left toes, extending out through your right fingers. Stay here, or you can bend your left knee and grab your left foot with your right hand. Turn your head to the right, and you can do little exploratory movements here. You could get a little stretch in your left quad if you're holding your left foot by pushing your knee back over to the right and pulling your heel into your hip. Release your left foot if you were holding it. Lower your right hip back to the ground. Center your hips, or you could even slide over to the left a little bit. And then reach out through your toes as you lower your right leg down. Make any little adjustments that you need. Shift your hips a little bit more to the left, open your arms out, and reach the left leg up. Reach out through your toes, and take your right hand to guide your left foot over to the right, moving slowly. And if there's a wall in the way, or something in the way, you can move away from that a little bit. Twist your upper body back to the left and reach out through your right toes. Reach out through your left fingers. And then relax into the stretch. You can stay here, or you could squeeze your right heel towards your right hip. Reach your foot with your left hand. Maybe push that right knee back and draw your right heel towards your right hip. Release your foot if you're holding it. Slowly come back onto your back. Center yourself on the mat. Extend your right leg. Reach out through your left toes as you slowly lower down. So we're in this nice elongated place from all the stretching we did, working on our flexibility. And now give yourself a big hug. So hug in towards your center. And you can circle your ankles. Then float your arms and legs up. And notice if there's a sense of freedom in your arms and your legs from all this flexibility we were working on, all this stretching. Relax here with your breath. And try and notice your low back. Is it flush to the floor? Is it flat on the floor? If not, just press your belly down a little bit to flatten your back. And the further away your feet are from your hands, it's harder to keep your back flat. So see if you can find that balance point. Begin to move your fingers and your toes, your wrists and your ankles. And slowly make your way into a very short savasana. And after working on all those different poses and flexibility, you might find that you're even more relaxed in savasana. Just lie here with your breath. And slowly begin to turn your head from side to side. You're welcome to stay here longer in your savasana. Or you can gently make your way back up into a comfortable seat. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice. I hope you have more of a sense of where your end range of motion is, where your edge is, and maybe a greater sense of freedom with all this flexibility that you've been exploring within yourself. I would love to hear from you, so if you'd leave a comment, I'd appreciate it. If you would share this with your friends, that'd be great, and see you again soon. Bye.